Hi, I'm Matilyn Vogel, and today I'll be telling you how to multiply and divide rational numbers. When you're trying to find the sum of an equation, like let's say -5 times 6, you're obviously gonna do the numbers first, right? So let's do that. 30. You end up with 30. But what happens to this? It's a negative. And this is obviously a positive. There's just no sign. Where does the negative go, and how do you know whether it's a positive or a negative is usually the question. That negative sign, if there's a second one, it needs to go with that one, which will make it a pair, which will make the answer a positive. In other words, that this negative, like let's say the problem instead of this was this. -5 times -6. The answer would still be 30, but over here we have only 1, and over here we have 2. Those two together would make a positive. It's super easy to get this mixed up. So 2 negatives equal 1 positive. Since over here we don't have another 1, we need to make this a negative. So this symbol has 1 to go with it. Alright, here we go. Multiplying fractions. So, right here is a very simple, easy fraction that you can do. It's quite easy. All you gotta do is this, or you could convert these to 6s. I'm just gonna do it like this, and we can't cross cancel anything. So this would end up being 1, 6. And then over here, we have this problem. These two times each other. Now, but first before we move on, this is a negative, so I have to draw a negative sign there. Now, right here, we have to do this problem. Now, this is semi-easy, and you do it just like you would regularly do it, but forget about the decimal while you're multiplying. But when you get to the adding and you add it all up, stop and think about the decimal. Great. Now that you've solved it, all you need to do now is worry about the decimals and the signs. Since there's one decimal, there's 1 and 2 decimals. You got to go from here to here to here. And that's where the decimal would be. So your answer would be this. Since there's 2 negatives, it would be a positive. So that's how you multiply. All right, now we're going to learn how to divide fractions and decimals. First, let's divide fractions, the equation on the top. When dividing fractions, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal. That means you take this problem and turn it into this. Great. Now, all you gotta do is multiply. And by the way, the reciprocal is this number, the second number, and almost making it go upside down. In other words, you're moving the number on the bottom, right here, the denominator, up to, and switching it to the numerator. Then you're making the number on the top, the numerator, switch down to the denominator. Now, solve. And now, if you can, cross cancel. There. Now let's go on to decimals. So when you're dividing decimals, you're actually doing regular division. But while you're doing this, you can't really do this because there's a decimal right here. So you gotta move it over to make it 15, but whatever you do to that end of the problem, you gotta do it to this one too. So now the decimal's over here and the decimal's over here. Now all we have to do is multiply. Since we already moved the decimals, now we're dividing 25 by 15. There you go. Now, let's not forget the repeat sign, for this will go on forever. Because we already had 10 here, drop another 0. It would just be doing the same thing over and over what we did right here. So, that would be your answer, but since I put no negatives or positives in this problem, if there were negatives and positives, the answer would be different. And if there was a negative there, this would end up being negative. If there was a negative here, this would end up being negative. So it all just really depends on the problem. That's it. Bye.